Hello, my name is Lori Gill. I'm the founder of the Attachment and Trauma Treatment Center for Healing. I'm here today to talk to you about a technique that may be helpful for building new neural pathways. This technique is based upon Rick Hanson's technique, which he calls HEAL. Many of us have heard the expression that neurons that fire together wire together. What this means is that when we have activation, neural networks and neural pathways are formed, associations are formed that reinforce those neural networks. Part of the work that we want to do is to form new neural pathways and new neural networks. Joe Dispenza has an excellent TED Talk on the topic where he talks about neuroplasticity, neural networks, neural associations that are formed, and the neural growth factor and how we can redirect that neural growth factor to form new neural pathways and new neural networks. I think it ties in nicely with the concept of HEAL introduced by Rick Hanson. Hanson says we need to first have an experience, real or created. So I often use the concept of isolation. Many of the people I work with have experienced attachment wounds or attachment trauma. As a result, quite often there's a sense of isolation or a sense of abandonment. If we're to use the HEAL technique with this, an example would be that we first need to have an experience, real or created, of connection. Hanson says that we would then need to enrich that experience of connection by taking it in with all of our senses. So not only do I have this experience of connection, now I'm delving into what it would look like, feel like, sound like, what it feels like in my body, and really trying to absorb that felt sense of connection. He says we then need to absorb it. And there are a couple of ways we can do this. We can either deepen that felt sense of connection by really stepping further into it, fully feeling what it feels like to be connected, what our body posture is like, what the facial expressions of others would be like when there's a felt sense of connection. Or we can tap it in using Laurel Parnell's resource installation, where we're tapping in using bilateral stimulation, just right, left, right, left, right, left. You can do this on the outside of your knees as well, or tapping your toes, but the idea is alternating. This really just helps us to embody that felt sense of connection. The linking occurs through repeated pairing. So that means that every time I have that felt sense of abandonment, I acknowledge it, I notice it. This is the neurons that fire together, wire together. But instead of settling into that and sitting in that sense of abandonment, what I'm going to do is notice the abandonment and redirect with intentionality my energy and the attention in my brain as well as in my body into that felt sense of connection. So again, I'm going to call upon that experience of connection, real or created. I'm going to really enrich it and saturate myself in that feeling of what it feels like, looks like, sounds like, smells like, to have a felt sense of connection with someone. Then I'm going to really focus on absorbing that through settling into it deeper or tapping it in. And I'm going to continue to do that each time that felt sense of abandonment comes up. The repeated pairing of that as I redirect, my attention and energy and the amplitude in the brain to the felt sense of connection over time, as Joe Dispenza shows in his video clip, causes those old neural pathways to extinguish and new neural pathways and new neural networks to be formed. I think it's pretty exciting to understand that we have this capacity to change those neural networks, and I really hope that you found this to be helpful. Do feel free to check out his video as well, and I wish you a gentle rest of your night.